Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a race against my battery percentage. I'm down to 15%, so I'm going to try to get this done as swiftly as possible. But I had some ideas, a thought yesterday that I want to elaborate on in this video. And as you can kind of tell by the title, it has to do with how you approach starting your journey, your trajectory towards an artistic career, I guess. It's a tricky one because we as creatives feel such a, I'll say for myself, I felt such a strong hatred for working a regular job. Just didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, this is not helping me. It's not really getting me anywhere near towards my goals. Honestly, most of the jobs I've ever worked never pay me well enough to actually set me up for success. It's always just paying me just enough to survive. And so when I'm working my tail off to just barely survive, while I also have these dreams of being a creative, it's kind of demoralizing and really hard to stick with that. And that being said, some of the worst art advice that I feel like I've ever received has been the phrase that I'm sure you've heard: why don't you just work a part-time job while you wait for your little art thing to take off? Okay, I'm sure you've probably heard that before. If you have, you know how annoying it is, and you know how condescending it is, and you know that most of the people that say that are people who have never actually tried to build an art career and are probably not as passionate as you are. This video, I'm kind of speaking to my younger self, to be honest with you. Speaking to myself 4 or 5 years ago. Well, not 5 years ago, probably more like 3 or 4 years ago. But take from it what you will, any benefits that you might receive, but understand I'm really just kind of speaking to myself about myself. Also, this, it's not it, Chief, but it's okay. We'll make do. So basically, I just wanted to go over the journey, the trajectory that I chose as a creative, the ups, the downs, and whether it might have been a mistake. You know, I started painting in 2020, not as a COVID lockdown pastime, more as I was at university for one semester, and during my spare time I would paint. And I discovered that I really enjoy painting abstract expressionism, to be specific. It was during that semester that I came to realize that I don't want to finish this school. I don't want to finish this college. And I want to leave, and I want to work on being an artist. There's also other things going on in my life at the time that made me leave the state I was living in, move to North Carolina, and try to start a new life for myself there. I spent a good couple of, I think a little over a year there, working a couple different jobs, still trying to make art. That was about when I started. Oh no, wait, hang on. Yeah. I was working a couple different jobs, still making art. But it was when I quit my job at the start of 2022 that was the start of the real learning experience. I quit a full-time job at a manufacturing company. I started making YouTube videos. If you scroll back to the very start of my channel, those are the videos that you see. Filming with a webcam, it was terrible. I made maybe 2 sales worth about $300 in the course of a month. Immediately went broke, almost got evicted, and had to get a couple of jobs to get back on my feet. Moved down to Texas again. Got married. Somehow ended up getting into an apartment with my wife. We were both working part-time. Well, I was working almost full-time. And I still wanted to make art. Now, during that time, I was really wrestling with what's the seeming failure of the first attempt at quitting your job to be an artist, to me, it failed. Within 2 months, I had nothing, and I had to get back into the workforce. It sucked, and I was really angry about it. Actually, pretty bitter about it for a little while. And I gave myself a break from art. I decided to let myself pause and give myself some time to sort of process and let that bitterness go. And about 6 to 12 months after that, towards the end of 2022 and into 2023, I was really started to feel, it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the experience. I learned from it, and I'm almost grateful for it. So I started painting again. And in 2023, I started making Instagram content about my paintings. Had one video go mega viral, almost 1 million views. Had a couple other videos hit 20K something. Gained 2,000 followers on Instagram. And that also sort of crushed me. It was it was more than I could handle, and I definitely took a break from Instagram creation. I think I even took a break from painting. I was getting a lot of negativity, as you can imagine. Painting abstract, there's always negativity towards abstract. It's like, you're not a real artist. My child could do that. And I didn't have the internal structure to be able to properly process that. Fast forward to where we are now. I've spent the last 2 or 3 months actively trying to build my art Instagram again. I've spent the last couple of weeks actually posting on YouTube. I find a lot of joy in posting on YouTube. The process of videoing, editing, and then publishing is really exciting to me, and I really love pursuing that. Living in a van, it's kind of hard to paint anything. I've been posting some on my Instagram of little paintings I do in my sketchbooks, but that's about all I can do. I have no space for canvas. I have no money to buy canvas. I have no space to store it. And nobody's buying it from me. So I've really spent, since January of this year, once again, at the start of the year, I quit a job and really sent it to make art my career. And I've only made it thus far to May purely because of the grace and the gift of God giving us money through a couple of different sources. That is how we've been able to survive, because I'm still not a profitable artist. I'm not a profitable YouTuber or anything like that. All of these things that I'm pursuing, all these creative projects, they're not making money. And so we have none. But I still have this inner drive to work on them, okay? And so that's the timeline of what has happened and how my life has progressed as a creative from start to where we are today. I don't know where it's going to be in 6 months. I don't know if I need to stop here, pivot, and get a job again just to try to build something up again. I don't want to, though. And here's why. My spirit over the course of the last 6 months has been the most free, happy, and fulfilled than it's ever been in my entire life. And I've never felt this feeling from working a job. I've never felt this feeling from clocking in every day. As I have a lot to learn as far as self-discipline and work ethic and where I put my work too. But I know deep inside that being a creative, whether it's painting, making videos, what have you, that is the most important thing for me to put my time into. And I've really wrestled with the tension between, I want to put my time and attention into this, but I have to put my time and attention into this in order to survive. And basically, in this season, I've said, screw it. I don't care if I survive. I'm not abandoning my calling anymore. I'm not abandoning my creativity anymore. I've abandoned it too much for the sake of surviving. I'd rather struggle to survive than not. Now, is this the right way to go about it? I have no idea. I truly have no idea. I don't know if quitting, leaving everything, and freeing up my entire schedule to make creative things was really the right move. But I'm beginning to think that it was the right move for me. It may not be for you, which is why I've titled the video, Maybe You Shouldn't Quit Your Job Yet. But it was for me. Because I'm the sort of person that if I don't go all in, I can't just be partially in. And that's why that advice of just have a part-time job while you work in your art career, it never worked for me, because I would always end up getting dragged into the wormhole of the part-time job. It took all of my energy, it took all of my attention and my time. You know, there's only so much time in a day, right? And so if 8 hours of it is at a job and 8 hours of it, 7 or 8 hours of it is at sleeping, the other 8 hours is eating and hanging out with friends and going to the gym, and you're somehow supposed to build an art career there. I didn't have the self-discipline to do that. I didn't have the self-discipline or the willingness to put that work in that way. Let me check. And so because I didn't have that self-discipline, I needed to put myself out here. I needed to feel this struggle. And so maybe it is time for you to quit your job and feel the struggle. But I am going to say clearly, it's going to be a struggle. Yes, quit your job, go live in your vehicle, or go live with somebody and really focus on building your self-discipline. But if you don't have self-discipline yet, how are you going to build that? I only really grow when I put myself in a situation where I have to grow. And coming to that self-realization, self-awareness, has been a vital part of this journey. If I don't have to grow, I probably won't. If I don't have to change and improve who I am, I probably won't. I'm probably going to choose comfort and stability over growth and challenge. And so that's why I actually had to step out into the unknown, step out into well, I say unknown, it is known. I knew this was going to happen. I knew we were going to end up with almost nothing. And I knew that would provide the fire to change. That would provide the fire to become a better person and a different person. I have been seeing growth in my discipline, in my work ethic, in my willingness to say no to myself, in my willingness to put work in to something that I know is good for me. I've seen a lot of growth in that area in this last couple of months. That's been very scary and been very uncomfortable, but it's bringing the growth that I need. So maybe it is time for you to leave your job. Put yourself into an uncomfortable position intentionally. Guess what, guys? You'll probably survive somehow. You'll probably survive. That's been a real freedom thing for me, because my fear always says, oh, if you do this, you're going to die. If you leave a comfortable, protective job, you're going to die. If you move out of your house and into a vehicle, you're going to die. If you prioritize your art and your calling, basically, and not working a job, you're going to die. Guess what? I'm not dead yet. Is that day coming? Yes. Is it coming soon? I don't know. But I would rather spend my days 100% following my calling than compromising that calling because of my fear, because of my anxiety, because of the unknown, because I don't know if I have what it takes. I don't know if I have what it takes to build in our career, but you know what? We're out here and we're going to do it somehow. So maybe you shouldn't quit your job. Maybe you need to wait a little bit longer. Maybe you should take the other trajectory, which is where you stick with a job and maybe get into a job that pays really well, and then after 5 or 10 years where you've been working at that job that you hate and you have all this regret from that time that you weren't prioritizing your art, then you can pivot and you have the money, you have some life experience, and you have the discipline required to make it work the first time. If that's your purpose, if that's your journey, great, do it. Stay at that job another 5-10 years and then pivot, you know? But don't do it because you're afraid. Don't do that because you're scared to quit. Do it because you're intentionally planning and plotting. You know what I mean? I've taken these steps and I've gone on this journey because I refuse to live by fear. I refuse to take actions and make decisions that are directed by my fear of death or my fear of looking stupid. And it's brought me here. It may not bring you here if you take the same steps. I don't know what your journey is going to be like, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this was the best choice for you. But I think it might have been the best choice for me. So maybe you shouldn't quit your job yet. Or maybe you should. The choice is yours. And the truth is, you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to if you're walking with purpose and in submission to your calling. It's just the truth. If you are making decisions on a daily basis that are submitted to your calling and you're walking in purpose, you can achieve anything you put your mind to, no matter what your fear is, no matter what your doubt is, no matter what people around you say, no matter all of the excuses that are filling your mind right now, like, oh, I can't do it because this, I can't do it because that, it's just too much this, too hard. All the excuses that are coming to your mind, it's all bullcrap. It feels real. And some of it might be partially true. But what's also true is that you can overcome those excuses and take the steps needed. It's a decision that you have to make today and every day going forward. Just something to think about.